Hello and welcome to this nighttime, because it's still nighttime here. I know if you live on the East Coast, if you're in Delaware, it's daytime, but dawn has broken there, but not here, as these days grow shorter up until December 21st. I have two non-age stated blended Scotch whiskey. One is well known, the other one is not well known. This is Grants. You can pretty much find this at any liquor store. I got this, and it's usually a pretty good price. I got this big glass bottle, the jug. I call them the jug bottles. People call them handles because it's designed to have like a handle on the back. It's got some embossment here to help you grip it so it doesn't slip out your hands. This is Grant's blended Scotch whiskey, Family Reserve, now known as Triple Wood. I got to update the notes. Established 1887. It says Glenfiddich. That's the single malt distillery that they own. You've heard of Glenfiddich. Well, they use that single malt in this blend. It's aged in virgin oak, ex bourbon barrels, bourbon refill barrels, same thing, and then some other American oak. Okay, they say it makes it really complex. I don't really find that, but it's kind of simplistic to me, but that's what they claim. And this is Legacy. So I paid $23.99 for the Grants. Legacy was $14.99. This is American. It's bottled in America. It's bottled at Buffalo Trace in Kentucky, but it's blended Scotch whiskey. It was introduced, look at this rumpled label, but it was introduced in 1962 by the Sazerac Company, the current owner, so it's never changed hands. Doesn't look like the label ever changed from what I could find out with research. There's also a Legacy Canadian whiskey, so it's not there's no trademark conflict there because Sazerac owns Legacy Canadian blended whiskey, so they own both Legacy Scotch and Legacy Canadian, so there's no conflict because they own both. There is a single malt Scotch called Tomatin Legacy, but they cannot sell it as Legacy in the United States. They sell it as Dualcus because you see, Sazerac would say, "Oh no, can't do that." All he did was change the name to Dualcus, which means a legacy, like a heritage legacy. All right, but in anywhere else in the world, it's called Dualcus. Legacy. All right. So $14.99, $23.99. Is the $23.99 going to be better? I doubt it. I don't think it is, but I got it screwed up yesterday. I couldn't tell them apart. I got really flummoxed. If you watch that kind of long video, I was just shocked because I did Legacy against Winn-Dixie WD Liquors Scotch, also from Sazerac for WD Winn-Dixie Liquors. But I couldn't tell them apart. I got them confused. And I was really shocked by that because I thought that the WD was bad, more or less bad relative to other things you could buy. Not bad on its own merits, really, but, pretty bad when you compare it to other products. But then I couldn't tell it apart. So that's got me a little concerned that I could have problems here with this. But we won't know that until I do the challenge. Alex says, "Good morning, clinking the bugs, Mr. Fairwhite." Well, you spelled it wrong, but that's all right. A lot of people can't spell name. Although it is The Riot. If you look at it carefully, it's The Riot. And sometimes these challenges turn into sort of a laugh riot. So Grants is one of the old, yes, Grants is one of the old liquor companies, Scotch companies. So there's the website. Grants, aged in 3 woods for 1 smooth. Really tell you if it's all aged in the 3 woods, or are they taking a third of it and put it in the virgin oak, another third of it, putting it in the American oak, and the other third in bourbon and blending those together. They don't really tell you. So is it three put together as one, or is it a blend and then it's aged and then aged and then aged? No information on that. Sorry, cannot tell you because I don't know. That's the new label. I have the old bottle. Right after I bought this bottle, they went and changed the name of it and the labels. So it seems like I always have that luck. I buy something and then the label changes, and then my stuff look old and out of date, even though it might have got changed a month after I bought it. It's got a notch in the back to keep it from rolling off the rack. Also has a notch, which would keep it from rolling off a rack, I think. All right. I don't think anybody would rack it. You know what I mean? Fully owned Grant & Sons, a fifth generation Scottish family distiller. So both of these are family owned. Sazerac is a family owned company. Grant's is a family. Shoot. You never know. Grant's might make this for Sazerac. You know, they might make the legacy, send it over to Kentucky, and then they bottle it at Buffalo Trace. It could be. Built in 1963, Grand Distillery was an amazing feat, taking 9 months to build. In 1990, we installed our first patent bill, enabling our unique method of making grain whiskey. So they have a patent on their type of still. Today, our Gurvan grain whiskey is seen as the best in the world and is at the heart of every single bottle of Grant. So that's, you say that looks like a chemical plant. Well, it is in a way. The chemical is grain alcohol, and they just have those column stills, that stuff out all day, every year. And and then I'm sure they sell it to other companies that would want to use their grain whiskey to build a blend. There's something about a dog. Okay. Then there's stuff. Distillers, there's the barrels, there's the master blender. That's where the blended Scotch whiskey is really a laboratory product. That's where it comes together in the laboratory, as they say over there. And that's where it has to be done very carefully. If you go to Crown Distillery in Canada, that's where the magic happens, if you want to call it that. So that's how that works. Okay. They make other more expensive products like the Triple Wood 8-year, Triple 12-year. Then they have some, Tropical Fiesta Summer Orange, and those are the flavored. And then they got one Tropical Fiesta, I think, is finished in bourbon barrels, rum barrels, sort of like that. So you could start with Grant. There's an old photo of them at the distillery. With Grant's, there's William Grant, by the way. You could start with the inexpensive and then climb, and then you can find yourself a bottle easily, very easily. 1887. The company's so big now, they own many other brands. And in fact, they own many other distilleries. Like I said, Fittich is the single malt distillery. They're showing the grain distillery there because that's where their base is coming from, the base whiskeys. And that's the story. I'm not a big fan of wheat beers. No, me neither. Okay, what's up? Oh, Phil says, hello, Jay. He's in Paris, France. Cheers to you. We have Grant's 1 liter for 15 euros, 57 cents here for a few days. That's a good price. Probably be about 19 here for a liter. Up, I finally found Shock Top recently, says Wesley Elsheimer. Yeah, Shock Top has totally disappeared from Louisiana. It has a nice note of coriander and orange, 5.2%. Shock Top was dying out already, and then Anheuser-Busch found somebody, maybe a dupe, to buy it. You know what I mean? No, online. All right, so these are light, but this one is lighter. This is the Legacy. It's very light. I don't get the impression that they're adding any coloring to it, because I don't know how they could. It was that light. I know the camera doesn't want to focus. When I get too close, it gets a little confused. Okay, No need to keep the lamps off now. I keep them off for the glare on the when I'm trying to show the products. So let me put in the notes Grants, formerly sold as Family Reserve. All right. Yeah, it's about preferences, Ron often says. That's right. Some people love wheat beers. Some people are indifferent to them, and many people just dislike them. I'm one of the people that dislike wheat beers. I don't mean I hate them, and I've had some that are like 100. That one from Lazy Magnolia Fleur de Lis wheat beer, that like an imperial wheat beer. It was amazing, and they stopped making it. Naturally, if I like something, it won't stay around. If it's something I don't really care for, they'll never stop making it. But I still wouldn't reach for that. Even though it was a 100 out of 100, it wouldn't be my preference to drink it because I'm just not a wheat beer guy. But I try to look at things in a certain, you know what I mean, compartmentalize, which some people can't do. Of course, we all have a different liking to our palate. Some people cannot do that. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten frustrated watching beer reviews or whiskey, but usually it's beer, where they'll say, well, it'll be like one of those chili pepper beers, you know, like they take beer and they mix it with chili peppers and tomato juice, clam broth and stuff, like a chilada, a michelada, or whatever they want to call them. The person will say, well, I don't like chili peppers, so I'm going to give it a C minus or a D. I say, that's your reviews? No one is really interested in your personal preferences. It's like somebody coming on, I don't like broccoli, or I love broccoli. Well, big deal. You could randomly find people in the phone book and ask them questions like, you like cauliflower? Or what kind of chocolate do you prefer? You know, oh, I don't like chocolate at all. You know, that kind of stuff. There's no sense to it. There's no point to it. If you're going to do beer reviews, fine. Make them have sense. You know, make them sensible. Study, read how to do it. They have people that will show you. First, you look at the appearance. You study the appearance. Evaluate it. Then the aroma, then the flavor, then the body, the mouthfeel. How does it feel in the mouth? The finish. Is it dry? Is it sweet? Is it semi-sweet, semi-dry, somewhere in the middle? You know what I mean? No, I mean. But don't get on there all sloppy and just like you don't care about it. Like, well, I didn't do any research. I don't have time for that. And then so you don't have any time to do research. You act like you don't care about the product, but then you begging people to please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. You know, they just harp on that. It's like, what's the point of the channel? To sell jackets? Oh, they'll say, I got all this swag. Nah, I don't want to buy a t-shirt that's got somebody's beer review channel on it. If that's what they want to sell, I'm not jealous of that. It makes no difference to me. But you know, you had time to sit down and pick out all this merchant and apparel and merchandise to sell. You had time to make a contract with somebody to do that, but you don't have time to research the beer. You just throwing that out there. You know, it's like, come on, man. You got to do better than that. If I can find it at a reduced price, I might buy it. I will buy wheat beers. In fact, you know, I collect bottles and stuff just to see how they change over the years. A lot of bottles I've had to throw away, and cans because they faded, especially red. You know, red is the worst color for fading. And I don't know the science behind it, but I know it's true. But Blue Moon has a new can / bottle design, and so does the Mango Wheat. And then the Light Sky, they changed it to Blue Moon Light. They don't call it Light Sky anymore. They call it Light. I'm not interested in the light. Okay. So I'm going to buy a 6-pack of the Blue Moon cans and bottles. Winn-Dixie has it on sale for $9.99 a 6-pack. And I don't think anybody's got that beat. Is that a good price? Not really. Remember, it used to be $7.99. But thanks to the JB inflation. I find it insane that Beer Advocate gives Corona Extra a 57. Well, they don't like that kind of beer. Okay. Let's be honest. Some people on Beer Advocate shouldn't be writing reviews because they just got to axe the grind. It's like, well, I don't like adjunct lagers. So they'll try 1,000 adjunct lagers, and every single one they're going to give it a low score, an F, basically. Not to rant too much about it. I think it's because of its popularity, people get upset. And that's too jealousy or whatever. Because they're saying, why would somebody want to drink a beer like this when they could drink this Speedway Imperial Barrel Aged Stout that's only $11.99 a can? You know, they're not real men because they don't smoke the same cigarettes as me and they don't wear the same shirts. And they drink Corona Extra and enjoy it. And that's a sign of inferiority. You know, that's kind of thinking. Like they got to answer to you. Like they can't drink what they want. All right, now let's go with this. And I had somebody tell me that once. You can't judge Ghost in the Machine because you thought Natural Ice was good. This was a statement. I don't have the right to pass judgment on Ghost in the Machine because I thought Natural Ice was a good, a good mass-produced beer. I didn't even answer that comment because I was thinking, this is somebody that's either unreasonable or trying to start trouble. Or is not bright. Now on aroma, it's a wash. It's either or. They're both very basic on aroma. You get a slight faint grain alcohol smell, which makes sense because they're made from grain. Some kind of grain, probably corn, maize, as they say in Europe, as 80% of the base, most likely, and then 20% single malt. In this case, Glenfiddich. And like I say, legacy, we don't know who makes it and we don't know what's used in it, but it could very well be, like I said, could be from Grants. And they just sell it to Sazerac and they put the name on it. It's somebody big making it. It's not some little tiny craft distillery. You know that much. Come on, we all know that. All right. Simple. You say, is it peaty? Is it smoky? No, not in any way. There's no smokiness whatsoever. There's a slight peat note, like, I say all the time, compost pile. Well, if you study what peat is, that comment doesn't seem as foolish as it sounds at first hearing. Burley Solomon says, you. Hey, cheers back to you. All right, so that's nice, basic. Hey, but let's be honest. A lot of people like basic beer, basic wine, and basic liquor. They'll say, yeah, that's my kind of whiskey. Super mixable. It's not a harsh flavor. It's not a bold flavor. It's just mild and mellow. Okay. Other people might say bland. I couldn't argue with that. This has more oak, like triple oak, triple wood. Well. It does have a bolder flavor. Still a simple flavor, but there is a more pronounced oak note. And I think if they're going to call it triple wood, they didn't change the recipe now. All they did was change the name and the label for whatever reason. I guess they want to emphasize the oak notes. So if you're more oak barrel oriented, you want more of an oak barrel flavor, get the Grants. And that should work. And you say, yeah, and I like a low price. Yeah, get the Grants. That should work. Now, if you're saying I do like a little peatiness, not smoke necessarily, not smoke, but peat, that, like I say, compost pop. And it's very smooth and light. You say, I like light. This would be one for you. And then you say, I want a really low price. Hey, $14.99. Are you going to find a blended Scotch whiskey for $14.99 a bottle? It's unlikely. You're definitely not going to find one for less than that. So that ain't going to happen. So you may as well, I mean, okay. Yes, there are strange things on the market, bizarre prices. And I saw one the other day at a store in Jefferson Parish, and it was $9.99 for a handle. A giveaway, basically. They're just giving the product away. I could have bought it, but I said I've already had this product, and I think I still have some in stock. I don't remember what it was, but I still have some in stock. I cannot just keep buying all this stuff because it's a bar. But that's an example. $9.99 for a handle, and it's quality. It was quality stuff. It wasn't some like. Now, I find strange things too. I found this strange tequila from Houston, well, bottled in Houston, Texas. Couldn't find any reviews for it. No website, nothing. But it was like $9.99, so I bought it. Now, it might be the worst thing I ever tasted. I don't know. But for $9.99, there's no risk involved, really. Is there a particular liquor you're examining tomorrow? Well, tomorrow we're going to do light beers. Any light beer. I'm going to bring the Outlaw Mile High light beer from Colorado. These days, there are many exotic, crazy products coming out. Well, there's no doubt about that. I need to buy another need. You like that word, need? Like I need to buy another mezcal because I got one unopened bottle left. And when I pop that open in a few months, then I'll need to get a new one. Don't know what I'm going to buy. Mezcal's prices have gotten so high. It's really something. When I first started buying mezcal, you could get them for cheap, relatively cheap. Now, the price is through the roof. Kind of like Irish whiskey. Irish whiskey. I could get single malts, the Sexton single malt Irish, which I've never bought. But I remember it was like $24, and now, or $24.99. Now, don't look that price up. You'd be depressed. Okay, I hope you're able to watch it, Wesley. I like it. I really like it. I don't know what the thing was with the Winn-Dixie WD liquors last night. They had me so thrilled, but honestly, maybe WD is a lot closer to legacy than I had first believed. After all, it is coming from the same company. My shirt is crooked and I cannot. Okay. But man, this one, I got to have it right. There's no way I can have this wrong. This has got to be Grants. If this inflation is just getting insane. Well, it's calming down a little bit. It seemed like the prices have started to drop since around, I don't know, November 5th. Seemed like after November 5th, prices started dropping. I don't know the connection, but I'm not trying to throw anything out there. But you say you're a fire starter. I'm kidding around, but actually that's true. I did see prices dropping, like literally. I was like, oh, okay. Grants, is it better? Now that it's different. I don't know about better. Got it. I couldn't snap. But I don't know. I don't know if it's better. I can't make that argument because I kind of like this light, slightly peaty Scotch. To tell you the truth, there's a lot of good qualities to it. Now you laugh, say, "Oh, you're nuts! You're crazy! You need to stop doing all these reviews because you can't buy a huge $14.99 bottle of Scotch and it'd be any kind of good. It should be dumped down the sink." Well, that's your opinion, but that's not mine. So no, I can't justify the extra $9, and I think it's more than that now, but I could be wrong. We could check Total Wine and More. Why not? Politics, yeah. Some people get so enraged about politics. I don't understand that personally, but they do. They go crazy, like crazy people. This guy at work, I'll give you a story. This guy at work, every day for years, I had to listen to him talk about Trump. He was like Trump on the brain. That's all he talked about. He should have changed his name to Trump or Trump hater. Let's see. Grants. He would say all kind of insane stuff, all kind of stuff. And he would just be so angry. And I would kind of aggravate him. I told him, I said, well, you getting all upset about these elections and everything. I said, why don't we just make him a king? We could change the Constitution, make him King Donald the First, and then his son could be King Donald the Second. And then you wouldn't have to worry about elections and getting all your blood pressure up and everything. He looked at me like, you lost your mind. You've lost your mind. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't see that's a joke? Like, you think that's serious? And that just cracked me up. Two wings of the same bird. That's all I got to say. Yeah, two sides. Yeah. Huey Long said the Democratic Party and the Republican Party was like high popularum. But I don't have time for that story. But this guy said stuff that could really infuriate you, like now it did make me very angry when he said he wished that Trump had been murdered. So then I stopped talking to him. I said, a person with a mind like that is ill, mentally ill, that you would hope somebody would be murdered. That shows your lack of morality, your lack of character, and your lack of a lot of other things. But I'm glad he said it to me, because I just could bite my tongue, grit my teeth, and take it. Other people, they might have hit him, because some people not gonna. You start playing those kind of games, you might get hit, and you probably deserve it. You do deserve it. But so I had to listen to this endless mouth, talking big, telling me back in August, he's scared now. I bet he's scared now. I was like, whatever, I said, that's your worry. It's not my worry. You just obsessed with these things. But then around mid-October, he started getting kind of nervous, started getting kind of jittery. I said, well, if you look at the polls, you got a reason to be nervous, because your candidate has not gained any momentum since that little bump back there when she jumped in. I said, and in fact, in many areas, she seems to be declining. I said, and that's a very bad trend if you're running for office, that for weeks, you've not gained momentum. You haven't gained anywhere, but in some places, you've actually declined. I said, and I'm studying this, and it looks like she's going down. And my prediction was 287. Or was it 289? But it actually turned out much worse, 312, and the popular vote. Oh, so he wanted to talk about this every day at work. Like I said, I don't care. I don't get upset about those kind of things ever. I get people upset, but then he tells me after November 5th, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I said, oh, really? When you thought you had it won, you wanted to talk about it, but now you got beat. And then the boss at work told me, we can't talk about politics, because this guy heard me talking to somebody else about it. All I asked the guy was, what did you think about the election? I just asked the guy, what did you think about the election? He told me what he thought. So he went run to the boss crying about I was talking about it. And so I told the boss, I said, yeah, I had to listen to his mouth for 2 years or longer, and I didn't care. But now he lost, and he's going to make a big case out of it. And the boss said, I know what's going on. But he didn't want trouble at work, I don't care. But I had to laugh. It's funny. I said, yeah, but it works. I told the boss, I said, it works both ways. You're not going to put me on silence and he could still talk about it. That ain't happening. But I haven't talked about it. I just smile. Maybe on January 20th, I'll buy everybody a free meal. Now they can't say I'm talking about anything. I didn't say I was talking about anything. I said I'll buy everybody a free meal. Of course, they're going to take it the wrong way, except for a tip. I don't know what you're talking about. Kamchatka. Yeah. Well, Kamchatka is pretty good for me, but I didn't drink a whole lot of it. You talk about it was making you vomit and everything, but I drank this much. That's what it's designed for. Vodka is designed for this, not this. This. These two whiskeys, what did you notice just now? This much. Thimble size. Not guzzling. I remember, Jack says, I remember. Ronald the Right. Hello, Drewski Brewski. People are sensitive about it. Yeah, they're very sensitive. But if you're sensitive about it, Why are you talking about it? I know people like this. They love starting fires, but they can't take heat. Love to start fires, but can't take heat. And I say, maybe you shouldn't start fires. All right. Anyway, the final conclusion here is that, thank you, Drewski Bruce. These are both fine, but I would go with the Legacy because I'm saving $9 and haven't lost anything. Oh, Grants. Oh, look, they're only selling the handles at Total Wine. $24.99. Amazing. An amazing thing. Because I bought this bottle years ago. And I mean years ago. Oh, sorry. Years ago. I didn't just buy this bottle. And I paid $1 less. So in 1 year, over a number of years, it only went up $1. Well, that's remarkable. Now, after these tariffs go in, but I don't think the tariffs are really going to go in. That's just a threat to get better concessions. You know how that works. But there you go. $24.99, $14.99. Save $10, get the Legacy. So I have to give the win to Legacy because it's $10 cheap. I just got to give the win to it. It's not any worse. If it was a clear quality difference, yeah, then we would talk about that. But there is no clear quality difference here. So obviously, when that's the case, you go with the cheaper product. And that's logically the answer. All right. So next time we'll do another blended Scotch against Legacy. I think Legacy is going to perform very well. It will not dominate in any way. No. But it will compete. Probably won't make the playoffs, but it will finish with a respectable record. I think so. All right. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye. Have a good Tuesday. Go Lions. Yeah. Detroit is on top of the NFC, the National Football Conference.